I mean, I think that I would try to figure out some other stream of revenue or income versus just doing this full time. And I feel like it just gets so narcissistic, like you're hearing yourself every day, you're looking at yourself 24/7.
I think my looks is what attracts people. I think people are really attracted to me, like from a handsome perspective.
Who doesn't love corgis, first of all?
And now he's like my best friend, right? You're my best friend, you're my roomie. Yeah, you're my baby.
I feel like going viral means that you're an overnight sensation.
I remember the first video I saw, I hit 100,000. I'm like, oh my God, 100,000?
You ride it out, you get the next wave, and you go the next wave.
Is this viral? I guess.
In 2010, I started making my first videos that was going to go on YouTube and such like that. And then 2013 came along and Vine was released, and my youngest son, Gregor, actually said, you got to check this out. It's like Twitter, except it's videos. It's really cool. And eventually I did this video called Put Your Finger on the Screen, where it looked like you were manipulating what was happening on the video. I found out that if you could put your finger on the screen and move the video up and down, the video would still play on Vine, on that platform, but it would look like you were shaking the video up, basically.
So I originally wanted to be a TV host, actually, to be comfortable on camera. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do these little videos on the side. It kind of just, like one video really took off and I saw the potential of what views can do. And I just, from there, just kept doing YouTube. So when you searched Easy Magic, mine was the first video. And so that one, to this day, is about to hit 10 million.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. This is kind of embarrassing, but there's no toilet paper over here.
So I have this one YouTube video. It was actually one of my very first Snapseed tutorials. I think it has, oh, burp coming, okay. Oh, okay, I'm good. It has about 1.5 million views. I don't even know how that got viral because I don't even think that video was that great, to be honest. So I do have a day job. I am a customer marketing manager at a healthcare software company. So I've been doing Simply Tea on the side for about 3 years of that.
Oh, for the longest time, my family was confused. Like, my parents didn't get it, I'd say. And I'd be like, Mom, like, I'm fine doing my career. Like, I won an MMVA. Like, I don't know what other things I need as a staple. From doing social media, there's been aspects of my career where I've had celebrity and I've had fame, and then there's aspects where you're kind of calm as well, where you're not as much of a celebrity. But yeah, absolutely, I would say at times I've reached it, for sure.
And then we went to an event actually in California that September or November. We were getting together with other creators who were there. So it was like Mike Tompkins and Combs with a 2-year-old and lots of people at the time who were really kind of blown up at that moment. And asking them, you know, what do you do for a job? And they were like, well, YouTube. I said, no, what's your real job? And they're like, no, YouTube.
It's not a bad career choice. I love it. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, there's so much sacrifice, but it's like, no, I get to work from home. I get to hang with my dog all day. Oh, Charlie.
I work in advertising and I like photography as well. He was kind of like my way of practicing my photography and like practicing social strategy and stuff like that. There's just so much like noise on Instagram or just social in general that, you know, if you're able to kind of like create some positivity in the world and not contribute to like the nonsense, then that's what I'm happy to do.
So I follow some people where literally they'll post for a week and every one of their posts is ad. It's all about ads and it's all about targeting businesses, and I feel like it's hard to just create content anymore and like authentic content without selling something.
Now Instagram is a little bit like a pay-to-play space. We had quite a bit of growth organically because it was a lot less paid ads and stuff. So we were able to kind of build a following like that. Honestly, I never really tried to market him. It was just like brands or, you know, companies, whatever, would reach out to me, and like my strategy there was like, does this make sense?
I've done partnerships where I've had to change my voice for the purpose of the campaign, and I hated it. So I've gone through the process of knowing what brands I like to work with and knowing what brands I don't like to work with. So I'm very, very picky now with the sponsorships that I do.
So there's like strategy behind that because no company is going to want to sponsor someone that does that. And I know that if you want to make money and make a living doing this, you do have to kind of cater towards what the average brand is going to want to partner with.
Ain't nobody motorboating up in here. They be motorboating on plank. If I could give my brand one word, it'd probably be uncensored. I'm not afraid to be my authentic self, and I think that kind of puts me apart from maybe other people that are afraid to do that, especially if they have such a large following.
My whole messaging is trying to be like an average guy, an average Joe attempting things. I don't think my content is average, but I think it's this family-friendly thing that is an average Joe's attempt at doing whatever I'm doing.
We went to like events like Playlist Live or VidCon, and I would meet other creators there who I liked, and I'd meet them and I'd go, oh dear God, you're a child and I'm a grown man. This is creepy. Let's not hang out together. That kind of changed how I was delivering my content. I became less about creating stuff that was maybe trending or something that was more aimed at a younger audience from their perspective, instead of going, well, wait a minute, I'm just this like middle-aged dude from the suburbs. Let's just take that perspective. That's probably funny enough. You just kind of have to focus on being creative and mindful of your audience. If your audience likes something, then do more of that.
Yo, hold on. My credit, it's not going through. Hell, let's try PayPal. Yo, my card is being declined. I think they froze my card.
A few years ago, I had a video called Buying Every Advertisement I See. It went viral over the span of like 2 weeks. It got like 4 million views over 2 weeks, and I got 250,000 new subscribers from it. When the video started to cool down, I got 250,000 new people that wanted me to spend $1,000 recklessly on a bunch of random ads. And when I wasn't doing that, they're like, what the hell is this? I'm gonna unsubscribe. And my stats were like, I was getting 25,000 new subs a day to now every time I uploaded a video, I was losing, it looked like I was losing subscribers. I actually got so addicted to like checking that I made a shortcut to Social Blade. I could have gone more viral, but I didn't want to be pigeonholed for that and then have this problem be worse.
There's this anatomy of a corgi. If you Google it, it's something that I created. Someone showed me these like shower curtains that are being made in China, like with that design on them. And I just like, I have so many feelings towards that because I'm like flattered, but also like, but that's mine.
A lot of people gave credit to it and said, oh, Danocracy did this first. And then there was this creator that was like mimicking my thumbnail, mimicking me and the whole style. And I was like, whoa, what are you doing, man? Like, this is something I created.
Like, you risk kind of like people taking your content and not giving you credit. In my professional work, I used to like lead influencer strategy. So I've worked with brands to connect them with other influencers and help them kind of like build campaigns and stuff. If I was a person like marketing myself and this was my bread and butter, like that is not an existence I would want, I think, because it's just too much.
I'll wake up and like a lot of times I'll be thinking like, what TikTok am I gonna do? Or, you know, what am I gonna shoot for Instagram? So my head is always thinking about what that next content piece is.
Yeah, I'll call you back. No, summer's not over. It's really hard to balance the online and offline life. Like our, the screen time thing you get on your phone every week, like that. That's depressing, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's like you've been online 11 hours a day for the past, yeah, but most of it's work though. And I'm constantly on my phone and I'm constantly doing stuff.
I haven't had a vacation in like, seriously, like probably over 5 years. It's just my brain functions with a content lens on.
You wouldn't think like posting a photo is like takes a lot of work, but there's a lot of work involved because you have to like take it and edit it, and then you have to make sure like, what time should I post it? Does it make sense in like the cultural context?
Recently I did a TikTok. It was my second video ever where I basically just beat up Patrick Star in this episode of SpongeBob. He got over 1 million views in 8 hours. there's no language, so everybody could watch it all over the world. SpongeBob is a super big like meme online that still is around, so I knew that would be a good hit. And timing, I spent 40 minutes. I did a ton of different takes trying to just punch Patrick Star. I was like drenched in sweat. Most of my friends were like, oh my God, like you were basically just fighting Patrick Star. I wish I could do that for a job. It's like, well, yeah, but I had to make sure the timing was exact. And I was gonna do it until I got it.
I think sometimes the most meaningful thing can be just like total fluff, like it can be just nonsense. I did a video this past week. It was all about me having a cheese slice on my face. And so, I mean, that's not meaningful at all. Like that's the most ridiculous, silly thing in the world. But I care enough to do it well enough, or try to do it well enough, that people watching it go, this is really stupid, ha ha ha. I've forgotten about my problems for at least this, 46 seconds, that type of thing.
I started seeing my impact when I started getting messages and DMs about how they were inspired by my videos, or how like my editing tutorials really helped them change their Instafeed or change their editing game.
I get emails all the time from people saying, I've had a hard day, I watch your videos, they make my day better.
Even when I engage with my followers, or I go on their feed and I like their pictures, they get so excited, even though I'm just like a regular person.
But that's what happens, is like a lot of people will connect with you and they know so much about you and you know nothing about them, that when they see you on the street, for them to come up and give you a hug, it's totally normal in their world.
There's been a lot of times where I'll like be at the wine store or something and someone will be like, is that Elvis Posley? I'm like, yeah. I realized that like, there's just like a lot of people to connect with, which is kind of exciting. It makes the world a little bit smaller.
I think that the cool part is, for social media, is that I get to live here in this sort of weird cultural town, and I still have an impact around the world, which is amazing. We do a live stream every week on Facebook for largely, I would say 34 to 64-year-olds, basically, which is just a really odd age group for us to find on social. But they tune in every week. They call themselves, it's called the morning show thing. They call themselves the TMST crew. They all chat with each other. People visit each other. Like, they're from all over. People from Georgia going to Florida, people coming up to Canada. It's evident that they just wouldn't have had necessarily the community around them necessarily where they lived. So now they can do it on social media.
I film everything in here, and obviously I don't have curtains. So people can see everything in the next condo. And there's actually a person that lives 2 floors above me, right there, that can see everything I do. So she watches all my YouTube videos and she commented, oh my God, like I've seen you in my building, like I know where you live. And she posted my exact address on YouTube.
So social media, the bad part about it is that there's still an anonymity to it that allows some people to vent out at you, and people still don't realize that when they comment on a YouTube video or a Twitter video or a TikTok video, the creator is probably going to see it.
There was like one account that like left kind of a rude comment, and that always like blows my mind. I'm like, excuse me, this is the internet. Do you not have things to do?
Every time I'll say, hey, look, I'm not a professional. I know I can connect to people on camera in that way, but I can't help you like a professional can. And this one kid, he just went over the top, and he talked about like taking his own life, taking his mom's life, asking where he can get a gun and all this. And it was like immediately I called the company that I'm partnered with, and I had to talk to the police all day. They had to come to my house. And we had to kind of trace where this kid was making this comment from, because it was like no joke.
If like content wasn't resonating, or I wasn't kind of getting the results that I want, I would just take it super personally and then kind of lose sight of the fact that like I was just doing this for fun, and he's a dog and he literally has no idea.
I think if I could start this whole social media life path thing again, I would not take things so personally. Not worry about it as much. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and go with your instincts. Sometimes, not all the time.
The experience of being a creator is something you can't really be taught in school. Even any sort of mistake I might have made in my career, or upload this content or that, it all played a role into learning, okay, well, this is what would go viral, or this is what makes the potential of it going viral happen.
I think if anything, like just being more sure of myself and knowing exactly, where I want to take this.
I want to say balance between being true to yourself, because whatever you're going to do, you're going to be doing a lot of it. I don't see myself necessarily being center frame for the next 10 years, maybe. I don't think so. I mean, this is as pretty as this gets.
With any career, you look at like Hollywood actors, like they're super hot at one point and then you haven't heard of them for a little while. And social media is the same, unless you're David Dobrik, but we all can't be him.
If I could take you up in boom, 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 tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Life could be a dream. Ding dong, plans would come true. Ding dong, my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hoping we meet again. Oh, life. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Take you up in boom, 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 tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream. Shaboom, ding dong, plans would come true. Ding dong, my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.